So if it's okay for you to start, today we continue with the peer review. So each one of us have a specific challenge, a dedicated challenge, and we're here to help. Today we will help Attica region and then Western region. So I will give the mic to Attica region for the first. We get 1 hour, and then we switch with Western for 1 hour. So get ready.
So we will not use the microphones because there are the microphones that are recording this part, because the lead partner then will get the minutes and out of the discussion. So we will do it as a duet with Sotiris. So very briefly, just to remind you what is the background before this task. After we had the experience in Bordeaux that we were introduced the local context on site, we decided with the lead partner to work in advance to prepare the content. So in your folder, this is here, which includes all the information about the local content. It was not possible to, of course, to include all this information in the presentation, so we decided to distribute this part, which has the main information behind this one. And then Sotiris mainly will go through the core topics that everything is included here, and at the end we have some specific questions that we are going to work for the time that we have available. At the end of the day, we will hopefully get some feeds from your experiences for your local content to address our policy instrument, which is a specific thematic objective in our regional operational program. This was a brief introduction. We have 5 topics to discuss: the introduction of the local content, the target groups that we selected for the specific project, a brief description of the stakeholders in Attica region, the regional initiatives we are specifically focusing in for the project, and finally the main challenges. Based on this presentation, we will then go through the discussion. So I will hand over to Sotiris and I will jump in once and only if needed.
So once again, this is a session dedicated to peer review. Okay, it's a peer review. It's about actually suggestions and inputs from the peers. There's no negative suggestion. Everything is very more than welcome. Okay, from our part, and it's actually how you can transfer your experience in our challenges and issues in order to try to make it more familiar with our local context. So, more or less, you know that in our case, it's the introduction of the regional labor market, some digital inclusion aspects. This is the main features of the Attica policy instruments, and the regional challenge of Digin Europe in our case, as I also stated in the application form, is to connect these digital inclusion efforts much more directly with the labor market access, in a way that digital skills and access translate into concrete employment outcomes. This is always a tricky part in Digin Europe projects, because this actually means indicators, and indicators is also a crucial point of the regional operational program, which is the basis of our project as well. So, a particular emphasis is placed on enhancing women's participation in the labor market of Attica. That's why the target groups are unemployed and underemployed adults, mostly women, 25 to 55, and small business owners and self-employed professionals, especially mostly women. It's more or less the case of Badajoz, but in a regional
urban level.
In an urban, mostly urban level.
So this is what we would like to focus on. We will not work for all possible target groups in our case, because this part specifically directs to the regional operational program. We expect to have this improvement. This is very critical for our discussion in the future. You need to think some local content and what you can transfer based only on this part. Okay.
Exactly what Costa said. It's about tailoring this digital inclusion to offer its group the key issue that Attica wants to discuss with the partners. It's here.
Any questions until now?
Up to now, yeah.
Claro? Claro. Claro? Claro. Vale, vale.
We're talking about Attica, so the local ecosystems, it's quite wide, okay, and it offers opportunities for various stakeholders. The key point is how we can address and make them be committed to our, let's start from the stakeholder group, but throughout the project. So, regional and local public authorities, as you see from the digital literacy center, there's already set up a direct channel with all the local municipalities in Attica. So it's very easy to get local administration in the project. Education, training and research actors for sure, economic and social partners, civil society community actors, and national level stakeholders with local level relevance. Mainly here we refer to the Ministry of Digital
Transformation.
Transformation. That already has various initiatives in digital inclusion, and for sure they have turned all the administrative, public administrative work that was done in paper digitally. GovGR, as mentioned before, is an example. Following
A portal with various digital services is under the responsibility of the ministry. So this is a critical issue. We have a very strong ministry that is working on this specific topic. So the rest, public authorities, have a limited, responsibility to drive specific actions, like the Digital Literacy Center is addressing some specific vulnerable groups to digital inclusion. Okay, so have in mind that in Greece we have a very strong centralized supporting system for digital inclusion. This is also critical for our discussion.
So it's actually it's a supply driven initiative, so you cannot leave the citizens behind. This, as I said before, the crucial actually that
some case
linked,
examples, some
with,
case examples.
Our project is of course the Digital Skills Center. Some other digital inclusion for mainly unemployed and vulnerable groups. Probably
these are driven. All details for these are included in the document here, and the second one is mostly operated by the Greek Organization for Unemployment. We call it DIPA. So there are many actions and activities under this, group of activities or initiatives.
Just a comment about this. Also, it's very difficult to communicate with these types of organizations. I think in Badajoz, your main channel is this service for unemployed people, and you have found a way to communicate in order to get people in your project. In our case, it's very difficult because it operates as a state. Okay, as a different organization, it's very fragmented. This communication, very difficult to get, people from
to attract more
people from
beneficiaries.
From these services. It's not that they keep it for themselves. We're not used in such types of collaborations.
And the last part is some examples from projects, Horizons and Erasmus that are there. And if you ask your ChatGPT what initiatives are in progress in the region of Attica in terms of digital inclusions, there are not so many topics there because digital inclusion have various sub-topics. Anna knows it better. So it's not always directly going to the specific topic that we are here. But in any case, there are various initiatives in this huge area. Some of them are included in the document that we provided. You can have a look once we finished. And then these are the main challenges.
Main challenges. So fragmented pathways, as we say, from digital inclusion to employment. Motivation, trust, and relevance for adults and seniors. Some inequalities in terms of access to devices and connectivity, complex and diverse target groups, coordination and governance, and limited measurement of digital inequalities and impact on employment. These challenges will identify.
Specifically selected for Digin Europe project. Okay, this is mainly our challenge that we are working on. Okay.
No, okay, we have this.
So the idea is that we have 3 transversal questions. So there is, you can, there are, let's say, our main topics. Okay, transversal, how we can design integrated pathways that connect digital skills to concrete labor market outcomes. What mix of physical and digital infrastructures are mostly needed, and how we can strengthen governance, partnership, and measurement tools. It looks too many, but we have selected 6 questions, a group of 6 questions that we're going to have them also on a slide there. And then what we discussed the lead partner is that we will address this question. Each question has an example behind after that. And then once you have experienced something and you want to introduce very briefly, if it's possible, because we have a lot of questions, then we are here to listen of your experiences, and at the end, we will, the lead partner will work on these details and provide a report that will support us for the next steps in the project. Hopefully, it was not too complex, I think. If you have any questions, you can ask us now about the process, and then otherwise we can move on to the specific questions.
We're just wondering about the target groups. It was unemployment and vulnerable groups. Is refugees and migrants among the unemployment and
of course.
Yes,
especially this area. If you walk around the area, there are people coming from all over the world that are starting working as not only for to support in restaurants or as a waiters or for other. They are a real active group of the economic environment of, especially in the extended area of Athens. But always have in mind that, as we said yesterday, Athens is not Attica. We have also the islands and all the other rural and peri-urban areas. But of course, the metropolitan area is the hugest part of this. So we always have in mind that these specific vulnerable groups are mostly in the extended center of Athens. Okay, and we're exactly the heart of this. Any other questions?
How many people are unemployed in this region?
How many people?
Yeah.
The percentage is not very big. I think it's something 70%, and we need to check the metrics. But we can very easily find a breakdown of which kind of categories are there, because it's not only the number of unemployed people, it's also what groups are there. But we can check it in a while and be back on this, of course. I think it's under 7% because in general, the last years, it's going well. It used to be above 10%. For example, in Norway, I think that something 1 or 2%, very small. Huh? Two.
It's two. There's not enough.
7 is already
It's
almost
problem.
4 times more, but maybe it's less for.
It's so low. It's quite a big problem for the economy because it drives inflation.
Yeah.
The salaries. No, but there are not of trouble. Not of trouble anyway.
So are you ready to validate the questions?
But could I have one question?
Yes, of course.
You focus on women, and that's fine. But why is that? Is it a big gender difference here?
No,
or is it a political
It's a very simple.
saying that this should be a focus?
It is included in a policy instrument, which is the regional operation program.
It's a political priority.
Yes, it's a priority, exactly. It's included. And if we want to be very precise why we are working this project, we need to follow what our policy instrument is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And also, from our experience, because we're working in many two projects, you don't need to work in everything. You have specific direction and specific two target groups. And then we can be also valuable for the operational program because we'll bring some knowledge coming from the European level to make the calls or the content of the calls more fruitful and more useful for the beneficiaries of the project. This is the idea. Now, there are many vulnerable groups that also Aris and Devi introduced what they're mostly working for the social part. This is also addressing a financial part of the vulnerable groups. Okay.
Just from the regional operational plan, specific objectives. There are two specific as well. 4.3 ASF funded, promoting gender balanced labor market. And
that's it.
4.8 fostering active inclusion with a view of promoting equal opportunities, non-discrimination, active participation, etc. So,
and in small words, there are mostly women that are facing issues.
So there is an unbalance.
Yeah.
So this is the main reason. It's something that came up from our policy instrument. Okay.
So, how do you identify and prioritize digitally vulnerable groups in your labor market policies? Focusing on specific groups, needs, etc., grants, seniors, small business owners, etc.
So it's obvious who will answer first because it was similar with your question. What is your experience on this?
Well, I think our activity came out of this e-health, which we come back to later.
Okay.
And of course, then we saw it was this senior people because this e-health would support people shouldn't stay at home longer because there are not enough people in the health sector to support all the new elderly people coming up. So of course that one is already there. But of course the migrants, refugees, in the general terms, that is obviously an issue. Because if you look at the unemployment figure, even if it's like 2%, it's very different when you break it down to the type of populations and age groups and something like that. So that one is important, and we have to work more with that, obviously, than we have done.
Thank you.
And that would be very interesting, and I thought the discussions we had in Bordeaux on this, and the people that fall outside in the big city, that was very interesting and very useful for us.
The answer was on time and on focus. If we want to keep the limitation we have. Any other experiences? Bordeaux?
Yes. In France, we have a public agency for employment, and we split young people, unemployed, and 25 plus. So there is two very institutional and official agencies for employment. And we do, in Bordeaux Metropole, we do not manage it, but we work with this agency in two ways. What would be a shame, there is some digital excluded people on these agencies, but they are captive. So the public employment agency give courses to these people, but if they don't get the money because they're unemployed. So it's, for the second question, it could be interesting. What we have, it's like during the reintegration progress to job application, the public agency give courses of digital competencies inside their own program of reinsertion. So we provide some professional mediation, digital mediation professional into this public agency. So we go on the public agency. And we do try to invite people from this public agency, captive people, scared people. In public employment agency, people are scared to have a stop of finance daily money. So we do try to have an invitation to get them out of this institutional office to have a more calm and nice approach with libraries, etc. So we have the both approach. Yeah, so we can talk about institutional targeting or more non-official and maybe more civic approach. I don't know, what do you prefer to... Voilà. I don't know.
Civic informal.
And in civic informal, maybe with the second question, how we get people to participate in a more informal way. I think we all see that we have to start with the needs and the uses. You talk about daily needs to public administration papers. For these people, they just... I think we maybe are able to know what is the interest of this kind of people when they want to have their own company. The 2 or 3 more interested paperwork to do online. Maybe start with this.
CV too.
Yeah, CV, curriculum, and etc.
So first, you can map all beneficiaries, see what they really need, and make more customized, let's say, approach. Yeah. So this okay. So what strategy is also proved to be most effective is also this informal. In a Bordeaux case, maybe the other partners, some other examples of...
Just a question.
Yeah.
I think I sense some tension between the state level and the regional level. Tension regarding politics.
Yes.
So is your aim to get more responsibility at the regional level to work better with this? That's maybe something above your work.
It's also a matter of human resources available and a matter of responsibilities. As we mentioned, the region of Attica is associated partner and they have a specific directorate for social services. They are responsible to follow all the actions the initiatives that are undertaken, for example, like the digital literacy group. So meaning that we have the region, specific directorate, the managing authority that supports, and also the regional development fund is giving some kind of specific feeds in specific directions, not everything, and is not asking for more to replace the region, the national level initiatives, mostly to find some gaps that could be more useful and also that could be funded. This is always very critical because most of you that you're working on ESF projects funded by the ESF Plus fund, you know that it's very difficult in terms of bureaucracy. It's not an easy thing to work through the operational programs for the institute. If we were a municipal level, for example, that we have a specific directorate for social services with a specific budget and specific stakeholders, then it will be more easy. The region of Attica and the Regional Development Fund are also working in this regional level as strategic planning. So we need also to collect needs that are coming from base and address them through the calls of the operational program. This is the main difference of the regional level partners. That's why Digin Europe always asks to have at least one of the partners to work in a regional operational program because they want to have this influence in the strategic planning also and not directly in direct actions. So there is one way of working on the field, like the Digital Literacy Center, and the second one is to collect specific needs and address these needs and challenges through the funding of operational programs. We are working in both levels, but the main role of the region is to mainly drive the challenges and needs through funding of the operational program. This is very clear that we are also working on this part.
Yeah.
So the second question that gives you some examples of the strategy that maybe from your experience, strategies and initiatives that were very successful will link, for example, the digital ambassadors, which is some smaller communities is working better. In other cases, the e-health part works also for the seniors. This is something that is very critical. So we wanted to have a second round of discussion around this, and feel free that anyone would like to jump in for the discussions. We don't give to all partners the floor because this is coming from your experiences, and maybe in some cases there are no specific experience coming for this topic, so we can just skip it and not keep it. I don't know.
I think it has to be linked to real needs, because these people have to. You have to have a motivation. You have to go over a threshold to get into this. So I think for our experience, this e-health is very useful, because then they need a service, and if you should stay home for a longer time instead of moving to an elderly institution, then this technology is used to monitor, to keep in touch and things like that. And of course, then you need it, or you can't stay at home like that. So then it's a very convenient.
I want to give you a brief example. You can see there the grandchildren. Imagine a grandmother that is hosting her grandchildren for 2 weeks, and she doesn't even know how to. She just knows how to open and close the TV and change the channels. And her kids are asking her for a tablet or something, and she's not able to do about it. This is also something, because it comes to some emotional and sexual issues, because the kids will think that my grandmother, she's not good because she don't know how to work on a tablet. So again, for seniors and again for this specific group of categories, I believe it's even more than 65 or 70, because as the years go by, even less people are needed in this part. Please.
In Norway, it's like you don't use money anymore. You only use digital
You don't
transactions.
use
No,
cash.
we don't use cash.
Yes.
We only use
Even for a
digital.
bottle of water at school, children go with a card.
No one has money
Anymore.
or physical money. Yeah, and even to go to the toilet, you have to use your phone or a card. So in Norway, it has really been very necessary to teach elderly people how to use digital things, because they can't manage in the society if they don't get this. So it's on the total basics.
If you don't know how to use a mobile phone, you have to stay in house.
Yeah.
Not even around the corner.
Yeah, you can't take the bus. You can. Actually, they had this law.
There was a law, yeah.
Yeah, they had to change the law because the shops have to accept cash if people come with it. Because they during the COVID they didn't accept cash in the stores. So, but mainly it is digital.
But it's one other reason also for that now. It's because now it's such a worry for a war, so we are getting invaded from somewhere. Someone is taking Greenland, and maybe someone else is taking Norway. So now cash is come back. Preparedness is part of the preparedness for crisis. It's quite interesting. It was almost disappeared.
In terms of population,
Sorry?
your city that you live, how big is it? How many inhabitants?
Where I live?
It's a private conversation.
In the whole municipality is 3,500.
You don't live all in the same city.
No.
No, we.
Who lives on the mountains? No.
I almost live on the mountain.
I live by the
have about
fjords.
2,000 people formerly around me. But of course, Bergen, where the main office is,
I believe
that's
it's
like
different to speak
300,000.
about your specific communities, and then to speak for Bergen, that is a city with advanced services.
Bergen is about 500,000 people.
500 million people. After
No,
all,
the region.
Oslo is the biggest one.
Yeah, 1.5.
400,000.
400,000.
So you can combine the rural and urban areas, mostly speaking about Bergen.
Yeah, in our region there's some tension between the big city and the rural areas.
We'll show you a map after.
Yes, I think it was presented in Bordeaux more or less. I know that Bergen is here, somewhere here around some lakes and rivers.
Sure.
It will be a good break to discuss where exactly you're located, and then we will Google map your house on the mountains.
But to the issue of this infrastructure, it's about the access is about the same if it's rural or it's Bergen. And the services are expected. People are expected to use the same services. I think that the trouble is not distances, traveling distances, few people, and then some groups that are in trouble. And even like with the broadband infrastructure, Bergen has problems.
Really?
Because the big city doesn't care. The small municipalities, there is a mobilization and people work together and they have got like 100% coverage. Like
The community spirit.
in Bergen, well, they don't care. They think everything is fine, but it's not. When you come out to the city outside of the...
This is also very interesting.
Quite interesting.
Different local content.
It's a massive surprise when we found out.
That's why we are trying, since we are working on the strategic regional level, we are trying to have specific inputs coming from the program. That's why we will mostly focusing on strategies or supporting structure rather than initiatives that are more grounded directly to the final beneficiaries.
Could I mention one more thing that
Yes,
which we learned in Bordeaux meeting, which was I hadn't thought about at all, was that these young people that could be tech nerds, they're just into gaming all the time, but they have that narrow view on the world and their activity, and then could not make a CV, they could not make a job application, they didn't understand public services. I think that could be a very, very important group, or that they just fall outside, even if they have all the equipment and things like that. And I think that was very interesting from our discussions in Bordeaux. And we hadn't thought about it at all.
And there is people digitally excluded, but people, like you said, using digital, but who are not able to understand the netiquette. I don't know if it's okay. How do you write on LinkedIn? Maybe that could be some skills needed, either digital and professional insertion.
It's also skills. You have to know how to write a Word application. I mean, it's essential.
Yeah, it's essential to get some job, but a lot of people don't know.
An expert on gaming, but if you don't know how to use the rest of the technology,
So
with your laptop.
The next one is very interesting, and I think the rest partners will have the opportunity to jump into the discussion. Is how do we reach those people that lack not only skills but also devices and connectivity? Speaking mostly that people that are in need, people living in specific neighborhoods that are not, they don't have a 5G anymore. They used to, it's not connected, and they're always be bad about this. So, what are the means that you are using, based on your experiences, of course, to reach those people and to make them feel more comfortable, and also to, especially for the seniors, to have more faith in brackets on this system? Because if it's not working, or if you don't have devices that are, for example, not iPhone 17, what is now, they have an iPhone 3, for example, because they cannot spend 2,000 euros to buy another. Do you use some specific means, like the examples are here, some community hubs, which are very critical, hubs that are based in municipal supporting structures where people met, maybe older people, I think, in the Scandinavian are playing bingo on Saturday, for example. Maybe you can use this specific gathering to address some of the rest issues. It's just an idea. Any ideas from the back part, please?
For the devices, today there is a lot of refurbish movement, etc. But we do lack materials, and even more because Windows 11 came. A lot of devices are obsolete, and we need to go well. So the refurbish and the computer donation program, it's a real big deal for us in France. We do try to have private financial or private refurbish in the in the companies. We take the old computers, we refurbish, and we do distribute it thanks to professional mediators in library. Because when you have a digital session, you do see who have not computers. And that's thanks to this professional that we are able to identify the number of people needed computers, and we are sure it's a real need also, because a professional told us these people is in need and needs help to have a computer. So yes, we have some. I'm sorry, that's it.
No. So in the public procurements of our own laptops, there is a clause with the company that they are gonna refurbish them, give them back to us.
10%.
10%, and then we can give. By the way, Anna said they identify. We can give them back to buildings, but it's 10% is not a lot.
But it's one person by one professional. So we have a list. Each month, professional told us, "Oh, I got 10 people needed a computer," and one of our colleagues has an Excel and say 10 people plus 10 plus 2 plus 10. No. So it's a lot of time to identify people and to give them. So yes, for the mobile teams, I think as public agency, we do have money to finance this kind of actions because it's time, it's money, it's responsibility for people to move, and why professionals don't move to have a mobile team, we have to finance mobility. It helps because if they don't have money to do it. So. And third and last, to reach people, we did have an agreement with public employment agency to send by post a little tickets, a physical tickets, to say, hey, you didn't activate your digital
social benefits.
Yeah.
Online.
You didn't activate your online account for social benefits. Do it here, and with this paper, go to a library, and you will have a free courses. The courses are free, but it's like an invitation, and we have a good evolution of people activated their online accounts, and some of them came with the paper to the public location, but we are not sure about the quality of the data. But to have physical invitation could be a way to reach people with no device and no connectivity.
Any other experiences? Please.
I believe that vulnerable groups they experience much shame of being left out. So if you offer a low threshold or a welcoming place, like this is your way in, there's no shame here. Here we can offer basic digital skills, and maybe you could borrow equipment there or show how to get used or refurbished equipment. Like a safe entry point, I think will be very useful for people who experience exclusion in the digital world.
Let's say an example from Spain, from Getafe, in another topic, but it has to do with energy poverty. The municipality of Getafe set up a unit for people that suffer from energy poverty, that is vulnerable people, etc. So the initial concept was to name it Energy Poverty Office. But then they decided to call it Healthy Office. So it's not about poverty. So you're not saying to be part of this beneficiary of this service. And
So
it is a way to.
This was a smart way for the same purpose, but with a more catchy
Positive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
please.
I operated in community centers, etc., in vulnerable areas, but in a totally different way.
In the case of Badajoz Provincial Council, we give a lot of courses, not related with digital inclusion, but related with healthcare, how to be a drone pilot, how to work in construction sector. And all these courses have to give at least 5 hours related with digital skills.
Okay.
And how do we motivate unemployed people to come to these courses? Because we compete with the regional government. The regional government give a lot of courses related with digital inclusion. We try to give them a small amount of money to come to these courses. It's a grant. It's not too much, at least more or less 15 euros per day. And they got, at the end of these courses, they got their certificate that allow them to have a better job. So that's our way.
But is this funded by the municipality or from the
No,
ESF?
from the provincial council.
From the provincial
And
council.
most of them with a social European fund or next generation fund.
But as you mentioned, the devices are quite expensive. Are some of the telecom providers made responsible for financing the digital
Yes,
inclusion?
partly, at least partly.
Yeah. So they are part of the
Yeah.
made responsible for
For sure. In general, I think we also lack in policies for waste of electrical and electronic devices all over Greece. We are now, due to circular economy needs, trying to make these strategies more beneficial for the citizens. So, in the waste management of these devices, for sure you can find operating machines. I mean, and sell them to the rest of the community.
I'm also following the time because we need to be on time since the Norwegian partner follows. And then this is also, we are almost halfway. 3 groups of the questions are answered. And this is the second group, linking digital inclusion with labor market services, always having in mind that we're focusing on women. So the first question we would like to have your feedback is, in your region, how are digital inclusion actions connected to employment services? This is very much related with our topic. And active labor market measures. Is there some kind of a formal cooperation between digital inclusion structures and public employment services? Any other social services? So in some cases, the vocational educational training centers and providers are supporting this. What is your experience? What is happening in your territories? Employment services and digital inclusion needs. How are they connected? Or they're not connected at all? It could be an answer.
Our project on digital inclusion is part of a bigger inclusion project in our region. We're working close to what's NAV in English?
Social services,
Yeah.
kind of a directorate.
So digital inclusion is part of it, and what this umbrella project we're looking at now, it's there's a lot of projects for them during the time, for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and as soon as the project is finished, everything stops. So it's difficult to go from project organization to something stable. So
What is following is always different.
yeah. So now they're looking back to see what's functioning or not, and trying once again to establish something stable. So I can share some of but that's a regional. It's not part of the European. I can share something from that. That's connected to what you're asking for there.
It's called the Labor and Welfare Authority. It's a massive organization. They are probably too big. First they should integrate and coordinate, and then they grow a bit too big. But they're everywhere, and they're important to include.
Are you working for the university?
Yeah, research.
Research. So your position is different than the colleagues that are working. And also you're working for the community as well. Mainly in a local level, municipal level. So it's very good to have the opinion coming from a different sector, that is academia, that probably has more knowledge on various systems how to work them. Is there a connection between the municipality and the university on this issue, or it depends on projects that are sometimes being implemented?
We have 43 municipalities in our
43.
Yeah, and they're in the region, and they're on a different level. So some of them struggle almost with everything, but others are quite good.
More advanced.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there are these partnerships. I think that's been a very popular policy to establish regional partnerships where you work together with academia, research,
clusters.
Yeah, kind of cluster across regional and local level and across sectors. And it's very much led by the county council, which is the political level. So
it's up
you
to,
can decide this agenda.
to the county council which of this cluster could be activated depending on also on the needs.
Yeah.
Because all of these municipalities are.
Yeah, and then you bring them into stakeholder groups and things like that. So tell a little bit about that.
How close are them, for example, if you have a social center, for example, that could support this kind of initiative? Is it reachable for other cities, or because of the winter and the snow? Because we have a very good transport system developed to overcome any difficulties arising from the weather. But I don't know if this is practice, or 3 months during the winter you cannot very easily travel from one municipality to the other. That's not always.
It is possible.
It's possible.
But I think this, clusters and this network, they are very much on a bit higher level. If you go on to like a local center, there's so many of them. You can't be 500 or 200 in a group. So you have to organize it and then link up the locals to maybe the local municipality are part of the cluster. But it depends.
What's the temperature now in your city?
It was -10 on Ireland.
Only -10. But strong Norwegian cold, like -20.
When I drove to the east, it was -13 in the morning. So
maybe then you can share some pictures of the people with hats and dressed in.
I can show a picture of me ice skating.
You have also, because you are almost close to Africa now.
Yeah. I think it's very hot.
As you know, then, through the climate transition and change, the south part of Europe sometimes is mapped like it's the north part of Africa. Have you seen this kind of process? Because you can see the weather today will be something around 20.
It is a Norwegian summer.
Yeah.
So we are stressed by the heat.
We have 15.
15? We only have 2 questions. We are perfect on time.
Perfect. Was expecting no less from you.
The lead partner is always playing the role of the bad guy. Sorry, very good discussion, but we need to keep it. Okay.
It's for you.
So we have 2 last questions. So Tiris?
Yes, examples of digital schemes training kids directly to internships, apprentices, hiring local employers or SMEs. That could be but a whole experience, I think, because there are also linked women to the market, the local market, especially in the rural areas, and some business that started already from this good practice that showed us. So this could be also input for us how we can.
I'm going to talk about it afterwards, but we used schools pupils to have training with elderly people. And it was like it was a huge success actually, because we get this generational meeting also. So it was very social and very fun for both the youngster and the elderly people. And I think it made pupils feel useful doing social services and teaching elderly people how to use digital
devices.
yeah,
services.
tablets, computers, phones. Yeah. So that was one of the solutions that some of our municipalities chose to do and still do.
And in addition, in 3 of the municipalities, these students or pupils, they set up their businesses.
Yeah.
Because there is a
They
special
have a
training program
social
to create your
entrepreneur.
business, and they get a prize if they can. And there's a competition. But 3 of them actually set up local student pupil business that did this training.
Yeah, and one
So
of them
that's,
won the whole competition. So that was very fun.
So it's a good incentive for them to learn, and then
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
And that could also be a way to continue things. You
Yeah.
know, new
Yeah.
classes, new pupils.
And they also get introduced to being to working like in NGOs. So to have this feeling of contribution to something higher than themselves, not only focus on the fun part.
What is your thoughts around now? Because you're coming from a Balkan country that is now entering the European Union, and maybe this is one of your first projects. So, how do you feel first of all for this process? Do you have a specific something to say in all of the other questions, not only this, about digital inclusion, how you work in your city? Which part do you think you have some supporting structures that are helping people to find job? Is it something that it works for you, or they're not such of supporting structures, and you expect, for example, the initiatives coming from the state? What is in general the situation in your country?
Actually, I'm not quite sure about the connection between digital training
Employment.
and employment, yeah, these services for employment. But there are also, providers of workshops.
Some workshops or like seminars.
Seminars, digital inclusion in general.
Yes.
And,
for basics, like the digital literacy is working, also how to have a Google account.
Access to digital services. Now it's started a project about e-health, e-cards.
Thank you.
And maybe just to add 2 tips. We were talking about the shame of when you are unemployed and you have to go on a course, etc. One of the tips is to have very visible and regularity meeting. Like on the Wednesday morning, you can go to this association to talk about digital skills and employment. And this local structure has to be very regular to propose all the same day of the week on all the Wednesday morning is a dedicated time to welcome whatever. And if you keep this Wednesday morning months after months, people come more and more because one has come and say, oh, it's very nice, you can go. Yes, but next Wednesday I cannot, but next. And to give the time to have the habits and the visible dedicated time. That was, and also for the little small companies or unipersonal companies, we have a partnership with delivery food workers, and they are often very isolated people from communities or external nationality too, and they have some spots where they can charge their iPhones, their phones, etc. This kind of spot is a very living one, and some mediator came here to give advice, tips, and information about what they can do. Or so that's a
Find them the convenient place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that a good example how to reach the target group is something what we have in Poland. It's like local working groups. These are triple partnership. This is public, social, and private partnerships that links different types of institutions. And they are operating on rural areas and mixed areas. And mixed areas means city and rural areas as well. And their role is to engage local communities. So organizing some events, some networking sessions, and this could be a good inspiration to share this information. And also what works very well regarding this target group is like sharing the information through different events, like festivals. This works very well, especially in rural areas. When you have some typical fiesta or event, local event organized regularly, then, for example, we have some kind of stands with information and share this information, and it works really well to reach those people who are not who do not use the digital tools on everyday basis.
What are these types of local groups? Are they formal groups or?
Yes, in Poland, yes, they are formal groups, and they can also apply for funds.
and then they have some calls.
Yes, there are special calls that are targeted to local working groups in Poland.
Okay.
Yes.
So, are they on the basis of the ITI or CCDL, local community schemes of leader, etc. program, or just in Poland for this specific occasion?
Yes, in Poland we have such dedicated programs for local working groups to support different initiatives that are addressed to local communities.
So you're more mature in how can you connect different,
But even not formal cooperation is feasible, possible, and it works very well to combine public and private organizations and some social ones as well, because then spreading information is more efficient.
You have to move fast to the last question, otherwise Louise will kill me.
No, I'm a non-violent person. I would just stare at you like.
You see, like, are you looking at me?
Okay.
So this is the last one.
How do participants move from digital skill courses to concrete next steps for work? We're done with inclusion. Let's work now. How can we do it?
We have some community centers that are really have some digital help desks, maybe, or some physical help desks to address this issue. This is mainly what the question is addressing.
From other initiatives, they are supporting sectors like small business security, municipalities, in Chamber of Commerce, that they did take this workflow somewhere.
We have a project with the Finance Innovation Cluster for targeting young migrants to get them to understand the economy in Norway and everything.
It's a big target group, huh?
Yeah, it's a
young
big target
migrants
group.
are only.
And
Yes.
it's quite difficult to with a one-to-one connection. You have to go through
A group.
a person they trust and also talk their language. So you have to get the way around. So it's quite dependent on trust. And also you have to not look at one individual. You have to look at the family group or a bigger society and the one person.
It's more easy to create a social cooperative that way.
Yeah.
More jobs.
Yeah.
We are exactly on time, Luis. 30 seconds left.
Enjoy
29.
Enjoy
28.
you want. Enjoy
So,
them.
thank you very much for your participation. Hopefully, we have some kind of useful input for this that will be debriefed from the recording that Angelos and his team. We would like also to congratulate our colleagues from the communication team that is very supporting, trying to keep behind the main scene, but the picturing, you will have the access also to the Google Drive for pictures, professional one. There will be also somehow, so you will be able to have all this content and also some small videos. Angelos will also produce brief posts for social media and a press release for this. So all the package is there. Thank you very much again for your supporting, your good spirit among us, and we are ready to hand over to the famous Norwegian partner.
Yeah, and I think something that is for both of you, both case, if you have some things that we will discuss and you want to get some more detail, then you must feel free to contact the people that said it. Just
to be back to follow up.
Yeah,
on
to
this.
follow up, because sometimes it's quick and you have something and say, but I want more information. Then you should.
We will go through the minutes.
Yeah, and then you
the
can
good
say, I
practices
want
also.
to recontact this person. I think it's.
Merci beaucoup.
You're welcome. But then the floor is still on it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
These hosts are putting a lot of pressure on us. We are coming from the far north with a few people. Not so big numbers. Okay? To go on then. Should we use the mic or not? This is a bit noisy outside. Or can you hear us?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Well, you see, we do this together. And we are coming then from this region, as you might know, and to your questions, where are we really coming from? This is the, it's in the West Norway, and this is the map of the region, the West Norway Council region. It's a county. We have, how many do we have now in Norway?
43 municipalities. County.
12-ish, because there was a big public sector reform merging the regions and municipalities. So here is Bergen. This is population in number of people per square kilometers. So you see here are like 1 to 4 people some places. Here is nothing because that's mountains areas. And this is Bergen. Bergen is the second largest city in Norway. It's about 270, 300,000 people. Half of the population of the region is in Bergen. So the region has about 600,000 now, I think. And it was a merge. It was a northern part, which merged with the southern part, like in 2019. And then this was much more rural. It still is a rural area. But the balance between Bergen and the rest was then like 50-50. So we are stronger now in the rural areas. And I say we, because we are from I'm living here. This is a fjord. I'm in exactly there. I have a farm producing fruits, cherries and apricots, and potatoes and things like that. And you also asked about mountains. If you're living in the mountains, I have actually a cabin up here. It's about here, on 1,500 meters above sea level for hunting and things like that. Annette, you are out here somewhere, I think. Yeah.
This here.
Yeah. And this island with the famous library and hunting also. It's a fishing community with a lot of famous fishermen and doing very well economically out there at the coast. That's this one here. This, yeah, right. And then Bergen, the center is there. And the administration, most of the regional administrations in Bergen, but also some up here because of the other county which had an administration. So our research institute is here because we were much more linked to that region before, but now we are in everywhere. So that's how it is. And then you see a photo, winter photo. This is, I think, about how it is now. It's snow mostly in the mountains, and then you see the fjord is still open, and it's in the villages it's still not too much snow. So anyway, this is the background for it. This is how it links into regional plans. And since this is about learning and developing policy instruments and regional plans in the big picture, it's an Interact project, these are very important. There are 3 levels at least, maybe there are more. Politicians now think there are too many plans, and probably it is. But it's a regional plan, it's everything. And that is for 5-6 years or something like that, and like all over Europe, where it's decided by the politicians, the Western County Council. And then you have sub-plans. There is one with the business development and knowledge, which is this one. And that is where Digin Europe is linking directly in. And then there is a sub-plan of that, which is digitalization and telecom. And this is where most of these activities we are talking about is defined. It's the telecom and the broadband development, it's the service development where e-health is one and e-inclusion is one. And it's also international collaboration. So this project is perfect, fit into here. It was a goal to have more international projects. We had a very active periods like in 10, 15, 20 years ago with a lot of EU projects. Then it went a bit down and now we are back in this and there will be more international projects. So when we learn from these meetings, when we get the feedback, it will feed back into the next version of these plans. It's a principal plan and then it's an action plan linked to that. And it's now up for political decisions and we hope to bring good results from here. And some of these things we learned, like with these youngsters with a very narrow gaming approach to the world, that is not here. I think that's next time this coming up, that would be a very interesting thing. And all other ideas here. So, and then this links back to a regional network, and this is probably could also be called an instrument here, because it's formal agreements between this region, some of the regional networks, and the regional planning system and the county council. And here you see IT Forum, that is especially on digitalization. I am representing this today and in this project because that's a cross-sectoral and a cross-level collaboration where digitalization is they make strategy plans and have a lot of project and activities. And also this is the Norwegian word of our research institute. And you have the health services, I think this is where you work. This is Competence and Knowledge Center for Healthcare. And you have all the municipalities. I know Austevoll, do you see the logo? I don't see it.
The 4 fishes.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. There. There's Austevoll. So this is the network that's working together and have e-health as one priority. And when these e-health activities came up, that is about supporting people to stay longer at home. The problem is that the population grew elderly. There's not enough people in the healthcare sector to take care of everyone. Then we have to use technology. And then you must be able to use it when you stay at home or you have to move to an institution. So that's the motivation and the need. And then based on that, we saw that there was a lot of digitally excluded people. In Norway, on average, it's about 15-20%. That's very serious when everything turns digital. And then we had to do something. And then, Annette, you tell a bit about that?
Okay. Because we have been working, we have this National Welfare Technology Program in Norway. And we started with it early in 2017 in what was Sogn og Fjordane County. And in 2019 we had this merge and we made a larger project that was eHealth Vestland. And also in 2020 we got the COVID-19. And in Norway they closed down every institution, and that's when we started to work with digital inclusions, because the people or the elderly people or in the institution didn't have the possibility to have contact with their next of kin, friends, family, etc. And we were starting to think, how can we help the people in the institution to have some contact with the people outside in the world. And we were starting with video communications through tablets, mainly tablets, yes. And at that point we had this local bank coming out into the newspaper and said they wanted to give tablets to every institution in the county of Sogn og Fjordane. So we were putting our hand up and say, hey, we can help you. We know every municipality. We know every people that works in the municipality with technology. And so that was the start. And when we when we started the eHealth Vestland project, we had this thought with us. We had to think. We were thinking about digital exclusion. Inclusion is a more positive word, so we changed that afterwards. And it absolutely the access to technology, but also to infrastructure. Because that was one thing that we found when we started this, that there is not the infrastructure, the broadband that we actually thought was built out was missing.
There were some holes.
Huh?
There were some holes.
Yeah, and we actually do have, we are good at it in Sogn og Fjordane or in the Vestland, yeah. So the infrastructure was lacking. It's also in Norway, as I said, everything is digitalized. It's like if you're going to the doctor, you have to do your appointment on the tablets or computers. We have this app that's called Health Norway.
Access to your health information.
Yes, where you get the access. You have also the NAV,
the Welfare and Work Authority.
Yes. So all this institution that is supposed to help people managing their lives are digital, more than less. Also the banks. You can't just go to the bank no more. You have to have an appointment, and you have to do that through digital products. But we got funding from the Directorate of Health in Norway, and it was to prevent loneliness amongst elderly in Norway. How to use digital technology to prevent the loneliness of the people in Norway. And I think we haven't talked about it, but in Norway I don't know if it's the same social built up in family structures as in Eastern Europe. We are we are more isolated, not very close as people, next of kin, or so the next of kin thinks that the socials are going to take care of the elderly. It's not our
We don't go so much to pubs like the Irish.
No, pubs.
The
We're
Irish
so
and the
social.
Scottish have this tradition of meeting at the pubs. We tend to meet at the homes, but the homes could be like a few kilometers away and things like that. And if you then get old and cannot transport yourself,
No.
maybe people could be more isolated really in that kind of areas. So this is also part of that. Elderly people get kind of lonely. Their children and grandchildren have moved to other places. So then moving from a state of kind of loneliness into having contact with this kind of thing, that's a very, very big motivation, maybe the biggest motivation really to attend courses and get the equipment and things.
Yeah,
so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, that was the main part then when we started it. Yes. And how we did it? Yeah, we got, as I told you, we started with founders from the Directorate of Health in Norway. And we didn't solve it with, we didn't make a normal project. All the funding went out to the municipalities that applied to us that they wanted to start something, like Harald was one of them.
We got some funding.
Yeah. So we shared all the, we didn't have like a board or something like that when we had this project. It was me sitting there I applied,
Well, you sent the money out.
Sent the money out to the municipalities, and they did the local work, and they chose different way to do this.
But I think that's part of our regional tradition to working in networks. And because you're addressing something that is very important, there is some real need, then they come and want funding and they want to be part of it. It's not a top-down, we are very much bottom-up thinking.
Yes.
It's not a top-down, you say this, you should do this, and then they say, oh, why should we do that?
Yeah.
You have to address real needs, you work together, and they have learned that because the places are so small, we have to work together. If you are in Bergen, you don't have to work together. It goes okay anyway, in Oslo. But these areas, they are lost if you don't work together. And we have seen over and over again that by working together, we can do things that is a bit surprisingly effective.
So also the small municipalities, they also have a voice.
They have, for sure. And in a way, I think also like us being the operators of this, we have an ideology. We are supporting the smaller ones. We are a little bit biased to the rural areas and outside Bergen. But then we were caught by surprise when we see that, oh, there were a lot of problems in Bergen also with broadband. Because in the rural areas, they mobilized, there were citizens groups, they go out fighting, they go to media, we need this, and it's terrible. We can't be the B team of infrastructure. So they got maybe 100% fiber optic connections. And then in Bergen, of course, they got very quickly up, but then the last one, nobody cared about them. And then it's now maybe more problem in Bergen than it's in most of the other places. So it's this different approach to it. The rural areas are fighting together about things, and they have learned that's the way you have to do it. So I think that, and that's why very much is in this more networks, informal networks. It's not a state directive. It comes from behind, or from below.
And that was also the thought, because every municipalities that wanted to be a part of this had their own local project. But we supplied with these meetings with every municipalities where they shared their experiences in doing this.
And very often there is like one or two that is a lead that provides the good examples, like Austervoll with the libraries, and then you share that experience with the others.
Yeah.
And another project, another municipality could take lead and do the best practice, and then you share that with the others. I think that's the approach.
And this is actually a good example, because at this we had a kickoff. We got money in 2020, but we also applied in 2021. And in 2021, we got 1.5 million Norwegian kroners. It's about
150,000 euro.
150, a bit more.
200,000 euro.
200. And we made this. We invited every municipality in the county to come to Bergen at a big kickoff. And we also then had some of the municipalities sharing how they had done this activity. So it was pupil there talking. We had elderly people who had been had the teaching. So it was a very fun event, and we also got more people, more municipalities applying afterwards. So then we had this huge gathering for 2 days. It was very fun. Huh? Yeah, digital revolution. This is Samuel Massi. He's an unknown person in Norway, and his granddad. They started what they call the digital revolution. So they were at this kickoff speaking, and I think that's how we made so many people from the municipalities come. We had some carrots, as we say in Norway. We had, after the 2 years, we had 728 end users. That's a huge number for us. It's a small for you. We had healthcare people with special ICT knowledge. We had general care at local elderly homes, pupils from secondary schools, and we also have voluntary personnel doing training outside. And we used mainly PC, tablets, smartphones, and the hardware. That's the funding from the director of Norway, Health Norway, were very specific on training. We couldn't buy hardware from that funding. That the regional bank actually came with some money to buy in hardware. It was very important. Because that's, we actually have a lack of that in Norway too, as said. So I liked your idea very much. And what I learned was to use email and internet in general, how to use social media. But I think as we said, the loneliness part, how to have contact with your granddaughter or grandson or family in other parts of Norway or in the world was something that was very important for them. And of course, since we are working in health-related information was very important, and how to use welfare technology.
Sure.
Yeah, they don't want me to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, as I said, the fun part of this was that how the generational meeting was something that was very positive. So to use younger people in the training session for the elderly was very positive, and I think that is something I would share. It was a great way to do it. And also, something that doesn't stand here is you had to have food. You made the elderly people come, then you had to serve food. That was very important. I don't know if you do that still, Harald. Yeah?
We do.
Yeah, you do. Food was, so it had to be a social event also. It's not about only the teaching, it's the social part of it that's important. And as you said, we talked yesterday, even if you do this as a group, you still have to have some one-to-one. And for elderly people, it's about repetition all the time. It's very important that you repeat things, and that you kind of don't make it as shameful. because the shame part is a very huge problem about this. And also team relatives and family has been a success factor. Right?
So, then we are to the questions, to your inputs. Now we have said something about the region, how things are linked together, the plans, the different levels. We have 3 levels on the stage, which we don't work so much with there, staying in Oslo. It's the region and the local municipalities. And then the other people in the network, like the academia, the volunteer organization, the health sector, and so on. So now, when we should refine our activities and come up with the next plan and go on with our projects and networks, these are our main questions. They're also in this document that's uploaded in our files. I think the 3 key questions on the top is maybe the most important. The other are kind of points below here and under that. The one is how to go from a project initiative when it's funded and people are interested to get started to something that goes on, continues. And some continues, and Harald is a good example of that. You got some start funding from one of these projects, and you have taken it on and produced a lot of good results, and it's operational.
We had a political campaign. It was an election, and the people we cooperated with went to every political party and asked them, "What are you doing about digital exclusion?" And we have this project. It's project funded. Could the municipal go in and start giving it, giving money? So after the election, the parties that won gave the library the resources to have a continuous, to fund it, not project-based anymore.
We have the same.
Mm.
I spoke with different colleagues to prepare the decision, and they all said strong political support. Because those are the ones that are discussing something for the budget, so they need to have their support and prepare they like to have some nice figures that they can show some communication, and they are the ones that are gonna support your project and get the euros, to get the Norwegian crowns to get your project funded also.
You need continuous funding because this is not a commercial service, no way. It has to be for free to get these people motivated.
So evaluation of the impacts. Sometimes you have to reduce it can also move the program. It doesn't need to be always the same, but you need to focus on some things.
I think these banks we have been referring to here, and we have a special saving bank system in Norway, which have a foundation that is the owners, so they can transfer all their plus money to the foundation, and they can give it out. They cannot give it to businesses because that's to be their customers. That would be unfair competition. But if they give it to some non-profit thing like this, that is possible, and it's seen as private money, so it can match the public money. So that is possibly a model also for working with this.
But it's not. Then you have to apply each year because it's better if you get in Østfold where you know that every year you will have money to do the work.
Well, if I know the politicians, you have to talk to them now, or they will cut it out again. So, but
yeah, but it's more secure than depending on funding.
And it's also a question then about, is it the difference here between rural and remote areas? I think in reality we have been working mostly in the rural, remote areas and not so much in the urban areas. In the bigger cities, then it can tend to be forgotten in a way. But maybe a different approach, like to the immigrants and the people that falls out of the system to other groups. This has been e-health. Like the Bordeaux example from the last meeting. That was very interesting. When it looked like very much supported by the city. And I suppose here in Attica also you have that. big city problems, which feeds into the policies and get political support.
But I think also for regional plans, we have 43 municipalities and over 300 in Norway. So there's a risk of 300 different ways of doing this. So maybe on a regional level, what role could we have on the regional level in our policies? And you were talking also a bit. Should we roll out the same way of doing it in all the 43 municipalities, or do we miss something then? You have to have a variation. Maybe if everything is similar, you miss something.
You have to get a common basis, I think, otherwise you're going to spread your energy. You need to have, you can personalize approach, but I think you have to get a common basis. We have a colleague, she's working on governance, and she goes with Antoine, our boss, they go to every municipality to meet people in charge of social services and some elected for social affairs or digital administration, and talk to them to present some tools. But in the end, you need to have a basis, I think, approach for everybody. Otherwise, if you have 300, how many municipalities do you have?
350.
Yeah, if you have a 300 personalized approach. I don't know how many staff you have, but good luck.
But in the Westland counties, it's 43.
In our region, it's 43.
Yeah.
But you need a governance approach to ruling it. Maybe that's you're not so used to using governance as a foundation for a way of ruling the municipalities. It's silos and walls around us.
Try to do like break the silos, but it's already the same.
So that's maybe a challenge on the regional level, all the silos.
Yeah, that's a very big problem. That we are so fragmented in our work, and I think that this project was an example where we gave something to the municipalities and they organized it, because we had this e-health perspective on it. And then it was some of the libraries or schools. So that was a perfect example that we actually put down the barriers between the sectors. But that's not what we are actually struggling with that in other parts of projects, that we are very silo-based.
When you hear about this collaboration the institutions mentioned, do you see anyone missing? Someone we have forgotten compared to your experience? Anyone else you would like to think is efficient in implementing and especially now continuing things?
Assurances like health assurance. So you have first you have like the national assurance, and then you get this extra assurance called mutual insurance. And this private, it's like a private additional assurance, health assurance, those are integrated. We don't have the banks, we have them, and also retirement funds, those who are also very much associated.
We have some of these big insurance companies, they also have this type of non-profit funding of things that's important for them. And we haven't really thought of the gjensidige systems. That could be
phone service, like the phone companies, phone and internet companies, we have one that we are working with.
Yeah, I know that one of Elche has also, it's a huge electronical shop in Norway. They also do have some program for digital inclusions. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. That is for the hardware part also.
Yeah, that's also for the hardware part, yeah.
I don't know if it's relevant, but maybe it's also collective residence for older people or landlords for low-income people. I don't know if it could be a new way to reach people.
That could be municipal, that kind of support houses. It would be municipal. But then you can link back to, okay, of course you need to have the infrastructure. And they maybe have to engage in that. And the same thing is like with the telecom. There are some few holes here and there. Because when it was built, some of these elderly people say, oh, we don't need it. But then 5 years after, they need services from the public sector, and then it's not there. So we have discussed quite a bit with local municipalities. We must make sure that everyone has a broadband, even if they would like to buy it. Because in a few years, you have to deliver services, and then you have to link up, and then it's much more expensive than if you do it at the same time. So that's of course, that's very much a policy thing, and at the local level, you have to secure telecom infrastructure, but in a few years, you can need it, and that is very expensive.
But you also ask for numbers and indicators and statistics. We don't have so much on that on the regional level, but maybe we need it to argument for the politicians. And how do you do it, and what numbers do we need?
That will be this afternoon session.
Okay, yeah.
And we are trying to make documents. The internet connection is provided by private companies. I mean, SFR, Orange, all these big companies have gained from the connection of people. Individual people connected is more money for them, like bank, like everyone. We do something. So we are trying to, and I think we are going to succeed, to take a fee tax for us, government, when SFR or Orange puts 1 kilometer of cable, it's an amount of money, and we ask X% money to go to foundation. I don't know if, as you are maybe linked to this kind of companies, to have finance.
I'm linked to all the companies.
So we have a new, we have now selected for the metropolitan area the new provider. There is indeed like something, and they knew it when they applied that they have to give back an amount of money every year. It's quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
That might be something we are looking for.
For the next.
Then it's also a new tax, and then new kind of tax on broadcasts.
Yeah, then it's permanent duration. It's like permanent money.
Social responsibility of companies.
Yeah, it's social responsibility because they have to tick off social responsibility, I think, in some of the tenders.
Yeah, in the tenders, social responsibility.
Yeah. I think we move to number 2. We are maybe running out of time. Still a bit left.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
55.
Question 2, the local implementation. Now it has been very much like people from health sector, people working with the elderly, volunteer sector and things like that. Are there others missing here? What about the private sector, the ICT businesses? We have had some inputs that they could be interested in. They could see it as a kind of a social contribution. Do you have any experience with that? That this kind of training, follow-up could be part of linked to the private ICT sector? Or don't they care about this? It is a market. It's a market. I don't know. Have you any?
You don't control the content of what they say.
No. Well, you could make a specification and you will be part of it, but I don't know. So you don't do that. You don't have any experience with that.
Maybe
sorry.
From a previous project, experience of anyway. It was Interreg Greece Bulgaria. We have a program. We involved the local association of doctors in order to have, availability of doctors. They have, as a system, is not always efficient. Someone has to be there or be on call or alert. So they gave us availability of doctors per day.
Yeah, and that was anchoring the project. Then you can use them after.
Because it's a personal
At the end,
sure.
you need the doctor
Yeah, sure.
at home.
And that's not easy. You know. Yeah.
You try to train some nurse school students.
Yeah. We actually had a project in 2024 where we went out to the healthcare people working in home-based services. We didn't finish that one. I would really love to get money to start it up again, because these are the people that are meeting not only elderly but vulnerable people in general at home, and they do get a lot of questions about helping them with logging into the bank or so. I would really like to start that project
linking
again.
it back to school, to the schools and the training.
Yeah, but we went out to the health care, the municipalities, and to talk with healthcare in home-based services.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was also cleaning personnel. It was the assistant. It was not only nurses, but it's also a huge discussion in Norway if it's not enough teaching about. But that it's more about the technology, how to use the technology, not how to help people learning technology skills. So there's a difference there.
Should be part of the curriculum and the training.
Yeah, but it's cool. And then I say, wow, is this really what a nurse should do? I think we also have that in some of the papers from the directorate that the healthcare people are actually supposed to help people with digital health skills.
Well, it's not the core, but there are a lot of support courses, and this is a fundamental thing. So we have to discuss that.
I would like that.
University. Yeah.
Yes.
And this about family and relatives. Sorry, are there any more comments?
For the local trainers, we also, will also train. So there are two things. There's a national program of people who are digital advisor counselor. Some of them have a place like they work in a library, but some of them go to people's places, what they should normally not do. And it's really interesting for the people that these people are coming, but sometimes there is an issue because they are specialists in digital, but not in health or like social services, so they want to help. But you have to be really careful because sometimes they are not special, as you said, with the nurses, and then they can do more harm than good. They need willingness to help. And it's difficult to set up the boundaries. No, this I'm not going to do. When you're at the old person place, and can you look at my printer and then can you look at my social benefits of them? It's difficult.
And that's what they are reporting back to us.
Yeah.
And it's like if you want to help a patient with the bank ID, it's illegal. Yeah. And we have to tell people you can't do that. You're actually doing something illegal. So it's also those skills for the people that is helping other people where to stop. Yeah, it's very important.
And you also have a training for those local stakeholders that are in contact. The colleague who is in charge of this training said we can share the product, so we can share it with everyone. But we organize a training for social workers, people working at the administration in contact with public who is going to ask things like, it goes from how can you help someone to how to protect yourself and manage emotions to what does it mean AI, what does it mean to use this kind of things. And so we train them also to equip them, train the public on all staff also. It's really important.
It is.
And this last bullet point, relatives and family, when it came to this e-health services, like the contact with the doctors, the specialists, people with some chronic sickness, that they have to be they have to self-monitor thing, then family relatives are very much involved, I think. But would that also be a thing when it comes to the more general issues? Have you any experience in that? Is it only the elderly people or the people with special needs, or do they bring in a bigger group like for support? Because it cannot be only a once-off. It is we follow up over and over again and so on. Any experience with that? In Östervål, who is coming to your...
My experience is that digital and relatives and family can be a conflict. You could be like stressful because the children do not want to help, and the parents feel like too needy, and so it can be like a touchy issue.
Yeah. Back to the shameful thing again.
Could be, but mostly children help them in a way, or grandchildren, but it could be very sporadically, and then they feel left by themselves because they didn't learn the thing the children were trying to teach them.
It's easier just to do it yourself.
Yeah, so it could be a touchy issue.
It's better with more a professional system in some way.
In some way, it's because not every elderly or senior has relatives there to help, or capable relatives. So it could also form more digital exclusion because you don't have the network, you don't have people around you. So,
Our motto in our case is that when you help an older person, it's a kind act to do so. So that's what we try to promote in every seminar, face to face, and in every webinar. So we encourage the people that they are digitally included to help in just a piece of cake, of a single advice to another person. So they can feel that they did something good, which is very simple, not even 5 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. Just show them, or when they are asked to, not to let them go away, because the kids, they often go like, come on, leave me alone,
Community.
We have tried the project in 2018, giving the speech to the children to educate the elder. Okay, it was a nice, innovative idea, but didn't work out as we wanted. It was a nice model, but of course the kids don't like to follow it, because the kids have their own perspective in terms of all these tools, digital tools. They are like that. So we try to encourage the 40 to 55 target group persons to help one each other in simple tasks. So they can feel, both in a positive way, and they like that. They like this piece of advice. It's just to put a parenthesis in what you are saying. Simple things are better sometimes. When we're thinking in large scale models.
That also comes back to the issue of motivation, how to get them involved, outreach. Who is the good? It's their peers, kind of.
We have a study about digital helpers, like informal family, friends helping. So this is a study we manage with ESCOM. And we have the results almost now, but there is a paradox for the helping people, because they want to help, they do it with other hearts, but it's also a burden because they see like a dependency loop, and if they don't give this 20 minutes and 5 minute helps, the people will be difficulties again. So there is dependency, but they want to help, but not to make it dependent. So that's the first result. The person you help the more is your mother. It's like a huge difference. Who do you help? The mothers are the first one, and then colleagues and friends before the living partner. And the average time of help is 20 minutes, once a month, more or less. And we are reflecting about what do we do. Do we enroll these helpers to come, hey, come on, be a professional? No, I want to help my mother, leave me alone, please, please. So what do we do? They don't have time. Sometimes the person they help are already with disease or medical difficulties, and they are helpers and digital helpers. So we are reflecting about just to recognize. It seems a little bit poetic, but just to say, hey, thank you. Thank you, you're part of digital inclusion. Like a little, the municipality gives you a thank you with something. I don't know. And maybe, what are the tips just to be secure? Don't connect. Take the tutorial in 5 steps to say to your mother, and write down your password once for all. And I don't know, we are trying to do this, but I think it's not to enroll them and just help them.
We have done, if you allow me to add to our discussion, the journalist. So we have, we call her in our annual conference. So she got the idea of what we are doing, and in her radio broadcast every day, she's giving such piece of advice, and also giving the motto, help one each other when it's about digital inclusion. Because digital inclusion equals to social inclusion. So this is what she communicates almost every day. And I think the communication issue is the most important one in our project as well. So the better we communicate what we're trying to do, then and it escalates those journalists that know what the idea and the project, the whole project represents.
Also, what we usually do this Conectadas program, they create their own network of women so they don't feel alone and they help each other as well. It's a kind of simple peer learning as well.
For example, in Poland, also important role for spreading information and supporting these tangible groups in digital inclusion are the charity organizations and their volunteers. Because they have a direct access to the information who's this person in need and requires such a support. And I think this type of stakeholders are also important to be included.
I think they could for sure be more included in our
Yeah.
There are some volunteer Red Cross type, but there are more.
Yes. For example, in Poland we have the Caritas organization, which is very active and works on different levels. And for example, yes, and for example, they volunteers could also support elderly people to use digital tools. That would work also well.
And I think they are able to go to the house.
Yes, they go to house, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
They will not come to this but we also have elderly organizations that are giving digital teaching, learning.
Pensioners associations.
Yes. So there are different.
Are they independent like they teach, or do you provide them?
It's in a group space.
Yeah, but do you say as a local authority you're going to train people on that, or they do their thing, or do you have impact? Because I know a lot of people we finance some NGOs or local associations to work specifically on this topic and to create on this topic.
It depends on the local situation. Sometimes there could be people that are kind of very interested, engaged experts, and they could be the trainers.
I also
And
know
some
that
of them motivate and coordinate.
But I also know that some of the municipalities do co-work with these NGOs to have these meetings and teachings. Yeah. But I think the main focus in Norway is on elderly people, and I think that we should look at other groups also.
I think this maybe leads to the last one. We are about to finish now, I think. Okay, that's very good. But it's one important here because we have been working now, as you know, with this e-health stuff and with elderly people and some with special needs a little bit. But of course, that is people with a Norwegian background, mainly, almost everything. But obviously, a big part of this 15-20% excluded. That is, could be immigrants, refugees, people from other cultures coming to Norway. Some have can stay for a long time, and some just arrive. That's obviously a very important group. How should we approach that? There are probably some other things we have to be aware of. I think Hans Inge already said that you have to contact special people. You don't go door to door there. It's more like there are sub-organizations or something. Is it something you could advise us there when we now move to this group? Because obviously we have to do that. Obviously it has to be in the plans and the actions and set of actions. What is the special things there we should be aware of if you have done similar? And of course in the big cities here you've obviously done it. Maybe you've done it more than...
Yes, in our region we have a special center for immigrants, and of course many NGOs that are dealing and contacting and supporting migrants and refugees as well. And also some dedicated programs also by our regional employment office, some programs dedicated to this target group as well. Even currently we finalized the project that was dedicated to this target group. It was the project that supported entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship among refugees and migrant women. And we have elaborated the platform to support the incubation program for this target group, such a tool to support them. Yeah.
How do you reach this?
We reach them through the labor offices, through this Phoenix organization, and through NGOs. Yeah. We have this network of institutions that cooperate with each other, and they share this information to the target group.
So we have some kind of organized connection to the NGOs and volunteer.
Yes, yes. Also, thanks to the project that we implemented during the last 3 years, we built this network on regional level, and we have good relationships with those organizations.
Have you identified the needs because you want to approach it all the group because you identify the need for that?
Yes, it's obviously a big part of this. Well, the general political ambition, of course, and it should be in every sense, is 15 to 20%. That should be reduced. It's a massive democratic problem and fairness problem. So, and this is an important group. And it also has to do with the lack of people in the workforce. If you have this kind of skills, you can not easily get a job or contribute.
When we discussed about it with our colleagues, they said like you should focus on one group at a time, because otherwise there is a need to be everywhere and to do everything, but then the action is also failing because you are like. So it's a difficult balance between like focusing on something and doing something well, and then progressively like doing something else because you cannot copy paste what you're doing here. You need to find maybe some other stakeholders, some other governance, some other. So,
but it depends on level. The council obviously has a purpose, but it could be different initiatives, just different projects and setting up.
But we have the finance innovation trust, so we focus on one target group, we can focus on another target group, so maybe we have to organize it.
Yeah, you have to organize maybe like some
goals,
clusters, thematic clusters, because you cannot just do copy paste and then you have the same.
We should have a digital inclusion center in Western company.
But you have like several good practices.
Okay. Last page in 1 minute or 2 minutes or something. I think from the number 5 we have already covered. Number 4, these venues and meeting points. You have this maybe elderly shelters, meeting places there, libraries that come in from the sideline in a way, and very, very interesting and very good. And it's important part.
Oslo, the library in my home municipality was
really fabulous. Great stuff. Schools also, because we have this pupil experience, which was very good, and they are continuously producing new students. They have courses that is related to this. They could do some, and the schools have the equipment, they have the rooms, they have everything. It's in every municipality. So
also, third century universities
yeah.
can be, and for Poland, culture centers work very well because they organize a lot of activities also for elderly people.
And you need some follow-up thing. It needs to be a meeting place where you can have a follow-up.
Exactly.
It's only one stop. It's really continuous. Good. And then the last one, maybe we'll get to that later today, that is how to measure and monitor this. How is the situation? How is it progressing? When it comes to digital infrastructure, we know down to every house in the region if it has a connection or not. And we can follow in every municipality, every part of the region. That has been a thing for 10, 15 years. But we have nothing on this, it's just national data. I think we have to do something on this. We have to merge with the other regions and get some national funding and do something. It's very interesting with your local monitoring system there. Do you others have this monitoring where you can break it down on the regional level?
It's not an easy issue, this one, especially regional level, because this responsibility of digital inclusion is not only on one organization. So there are various organizations responsible for various programs, various projects. Of course, there are the national indicators about.
But only on national level, not on national. Yeah.
There are also some regional level, but I'm not sure that people that are less skilled in this one are somewhere recorded.
But they need a new EU project.
This
is a big problem. If you have to monitor, how can you see if something is going the right way or not?
Probably under specific researchers, but this is not always representative because especially seniors are hidden in their houses. They're not anywhere in bases, so you need to find them. So I believe that indicators are based on primary researchers and then on some monitoring follow-up researchers of the results of the operational programs based on supporting structures like ARIS. ARIS will present it also tomorrow, have some specific indicators, but we don't know what is the starting metric. Is it from 0? For example, you will be training 1,000 people above 80, for example. But how many are they that are not digitally skilled? The starting.
There's a need of it.
No. All the data are from the national government, but now they have selected 12 local governments, provincial council of Badajoz is one of them, and we are participating in this project to monitor and to collect all the data. But we have just started.
It's good that it's
very, very good.
Also, you do it in a network, so you can exchange with people. You're not alone in doing your own study.
Also, for example, in Greece we have many organizations for various responsibilities. That means fragmented data. Okay, we have an example of Legal Lab. Is a city, municipality, which is very innovative over the past 20 years, and they started the social GIS mapping. So they map everything that has to do with vulnerable places, energy consumption, inclusion, all these social demographics in the city. And it's also an initiative funded by RFF.
So if you have some information you can share.
You have data at the local level. It's very important. If you want to design policies, you need data.
This is a very important issue, and it's now in Norway it's such an imbalance between infrastructure, which is absolutely needed to every house in the country, to this, which is just up in the air.
Yeah, it's just a feeling.
Yeah. This is a much more important issue now. Okay.
It's never too late.
Are we on time? Or?
Yes, it's perfect on time.
Like I think.
Everybody got 1 hour, so. But it's a perfect transition for the afternoon session about measuring inequalities.
Okay,
Thank you for.
Thank you.